Overprotective Hiashi, Hinata's father takes on Naruto. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 71. Ape-Fei Richo's face turned cold. I've already said that this has nothing to do with us in Konoha. Where something happened, go wherever you go. Don't rely on us Konoha. We Konoha are now in a trough, but we are not allowed to be bullied like this. No matter who you go to judge, there is no such reason. Your messengers are missing. Go to your own people. Maybe your people are drinking tea in Yunin village now. Ape-Fei Richo was very angry, feeling that Yunin village was too deceptive. The other party first used the next means, making Konoha very passive, and he finally came up with a countermeasure, solved this trouble, and solved the scheme designed by Yunin village. Unexpectedly, Yunin village turned out to be so shameless. This matter, no matter what aspect, has nothing to do with Konoha, but Yunin village, just by virtue of the Cloud Shadow Envoy to Konoha, Konoha is responsible. This is simply unreasonable. The Cloud Shadow Envoy was even angrier than Ape Flying Sun Chopper, and they had already judged that the disappearance of their messenger must have something to do with Konoha. But Sarutobi Sun Chopper didn't even want to help investigate. Obviously, this matter, Ape Flying Sun Chopper knows. The Cloud Shadow Emissary forcibly held back his anger because he didn't want to be killed by Konoha like those messengers. Naruto-sama, I will truthfully report your attitude to Lineage-sama. Walk slowly, don't send it. The Cloud Shadow Messenger left, and Ape-Fei Ri slapped the teacup on the table. Too much deception. Yunin village, it's so shameless. Are we really afraid that you won't make it? If you want to fight, then come. The Cloud Shadow Messenger returned to Yunin village with the reply of the Ape Flying Sun. Snap. Lei Ying was instantly furious. Ape Flying Sun, did he really say that? Yes, Lord Lei Ying, they will not bear any responsibility, and they are not even willing to help with the investigation. And they also mock and say that our missing deceased is already drinking tea in Yunin village. Lei Ying smashed a table with a palm. It's too much. It's too much. Konoha is so arrogant. Don't treat us Yunin village as people. Also, when they Konoha, is the former Konoha? Really, when we Yunin village dare not resist, can't it? The people who killed us are still so arrogant. This is Konoha's usual style. Very good, very good. I must let them pay. Lei Ying looked at Shangnan in front of him. Talk to Ape Flying Sun again. I'll meet and talk to the two of him. The place of the meeting is in the Land of Iron. If he can't come to the Ape Flying Sun, then my Yunin village will directly declare war on Konoha. This is their Konoha self. Yes, Lord Thunder Shadow. This Kami Shinobu was angry in Konoha, and it was when he was angry that he suddenly became excited when he heard such an arrangement from Thunder Kage. Lord Raikage is right. Now that Konoha is no longer as good as before, there is no need for us to swallow our anger. This time, we must let them know that our Yunin village is not a bully. Lei Ying's words reached the ears of Ape Flying Sun Chopper, intact. The ape flew and thundered. If you don't talk, just go to war? It seems that your country of thunder has long been prepared for this plan. In that case, then what reason to find, directly start a war, find these lame reasons. Don't you feel ashamed? You tell Lei Ying, talk, I will go. However, we Konoha are not bullied. This matter, Lei Ying is so forced. If you don't give me an explanation, even if Yunin village doesn't fight, then I, Konoha, will fight. Ape Flying Sun Chopper put down the cruel words. However, Sarutobi still does not want war after all, and in the current situation in Konoha, Sarutobi feels that if he fights with Yunin village, he is likely to be picked by others to pick Peaches. It will definitely not be his Ape Flying family and Pig Deer Butterfly who will benefit. Good. Lei Ying got a reply from Ape Flying Sun, and this time, instead of being angry, his eyes narrowed slightly, and he pondered. As an inch shadow, Lei Ying is not as rough as it looks on the outside, and his mind is actually much more delicate. Sarutobi Hinata dares to say something like that. Maybe he is really ready for war. Konoha has entered a trough, but Sarutobi Hinata wants to fight a war. What is the purpose? Suddenly, Lei Ying thought of something. Clean up the interior. Konoha's current situation should not be monolithic. The considerations of all forces are different, and the Ape Flying Sun Slash is old after all, and does not have the same control ability as before. Therefore, he wants to use the power of our Yunin village to use the war to remove the factors of instability within the village. This olding thing, use our Yunin village as a gun? This shows that everything is planned by the Ape Flying Sun. However, if we dare to use our Yunin village, in turn, can also use his ape to fly to the sun, we must also gain enough benefits from this war. This is in the interests of our Cloud Shadow village. In that case, our envoy of Yunin village did not die in vain. The development of things has completely deviated. A week later, the two shadows talked. Immediately, the news spread to both villages. Hinata Hayashi also did not expect that Sarutobi Hinata and Thunder Shadow would make up so many things in their brains, but the result was good for the Hyuga family. At least this matter had little to do with Hinata. Uchiha Fugaku's expression was wonderful. What did Hayashi say to Sarutobi that day? Uchiha Fugaku was curious about this. Hinata Hayashi came to the Ninja Tools research department, because Kamikawa Lei's news had just come that their research on ninja tools had obtained new results, and Hinata Hayashi couldn't wait to see it. Hayashi-sama, Kamikawa Lei greeted him. Hinata nodded. What about ninja tools? That's it. Kamikawa Lei handed over an iron product. Compared with the last time Hinata Hayashi saw, It became a little smaller in size, no longer spherical, but cylindrical. Hiashi-sama, there is a special design here. Chakra enters it, and it will rotate inside, just like a rotating vortex above the surface of the water. After bursting, it will have a driving force and have a certain lethality. However, this ninja tool is a bit difficult to use. Hinata Hayashi asked, what's the difficulty? The user needs to have a good chakra control ability, and the early rotation needs to be guided by the user himself, otherwise it will not succeed, or even burst directly. Episode 72. I'll try it first. Hinata Hayashi entered chakra into it, and immediately, you can feel that the ninja tool has entered an unstable state. Just like Kamikawa Lei, without guidance and control, this ninja tool will burst and burst. It is equivalent to an explosive. Not only can it not cause damage to the enemy, but it will also hurt itself. Hinata Hayashi hurriedly began to guide. Gradually, the chakra inside calmed down, and slowly rotated according to the rules in the ninja tool, forming a state similar to a tornado. Hinata looked at a tree trunk next to it. After that, throw the ninja tool in your hand on the tree trunk. Bang! Under the impact, the shell of the ninja tool burst open. The chakra that rotated inside pierced straight into the trunk of the tree. Whoosh! The high-speed rotating chakra collides with the tree trunk. Some wood chips flew out. Hinata stepped forward to watch. The power of the ninja is also okay. It can drill a 10-centimeter hole out of the trunk, and it can definitely pose a greater threat to the ninja. But there are still many shortcomings. Kamikawa Lei, yes, Hinata-sama. Shangchuan Lei's expression was a little worried. Now that these people are completely attached to Hinata Hayashi, it can be said that their lives are completely in the hands of Hinata Hayashi. As long as Hinata Hayashi is not happy, they may all die the next day. And the ninja tools they made, to be honest, this ninja tool, Kamikawa Lei also knows, is not practical, but they've worked hard. I have 2 requests. The first one, this size needs to be further reduced, and it is still too big. The second, the chakra that can be accommodated in this is too small. It must be increased. In addition, the speed of rotation must also be increased. Shangchuan Lei nodded quickly. Yes, Hinata-sama. Even Kamikawa Lei knew it was difficult. In addition, I also have a suggestion. The shape of this ninja tool, not made into this cylindrical shape, but into a sharp shape, that may be better. Yes, Hinata-sama. Hinata nodded and said, so be it, you can go back. Hinata Hayashi did not get angry because the ninja did not meet the expectations in his heart, and during this time, the activities of Kamikawa Rei and others Hinata knew. These people, not lazy, are very hard. The ninja that Hinata asked for was not so simple to make, and it was a very difficult thing. Therefore, as long as Hinata Hayashi sees that they are progressing, studying carefully, and not lazy, he will not say more. Blindly forcibly persecuting has no point in anything. A week passed in no time. The talks between Konoha and Kumahide village, the beginning. Yunin village does not mention it, and there are many people from Konoha's side who went to talk. Sarutobi Hinata, Shimura Danzo, Uchiha Fugaku, Hinata Hayashi, Narashika Hiza, Akimichi Choza, Yamanaka Haichi, and several escorts, consisting of Kami Shinobu and Naka Shinobu. There are also dark parts lurking in the dark. The dark part and the pig deer butterfly ape flying sun chop must be brought, because this is the strength support of the ape flying sun chop. Without these people, in case the time comes to lift the table and want to fight, ape flying sun chopper really doesn't think he can win Thunder Shadow. I'm getting old. The other party is upright and young. If you really fight, you can't withstand a punch to your old bones. And bring Danzo, Hinata Hayashi, and Uchiha Fugaku, because Sarutobi Hinata is not at ease with the 3, afraid that the 3 will do things while he is not in Konoha, so they all take it all at once. In this way, the ape flying sun chop has no worries. Under normal circumstances, the head of a family cannot easily leave the family station, but Hinata Hayashi, Uchiha Fugaku are all confident in their strength. Even if you can't beat it, when the time comes, give up the ape flying sun slash, just run. Yunin village also began to act. Leiying looked to the side to Shangnan. Who do you think controls our ninja? Lord Leiying, those who have the ability to control people are either people from the Yamanaka clan, or people from the Uchiha clan, and the Yamanaka clan has the secret art of controlling people, and the Uchiha family is powerful in illusion. Leiying nodded. This time, I want to see if the ape flying sun is interesting. If it is interesting, this battlefield, if it is not fought, I don't want our people in Yunin village to die because of such a thing. As long as they give us a few people from the Yamanaka clan and Uchiha's people. Shinobu next to him frowned. Thunder Shadow people, what do you mean? Leiying glanced at Shangnan and said, we died 9 ninjas, pay for our lives. Konoha must compensate us for the 9 people of Yunin village, and these 9 people will come from the Yamanaka clan and the Uchiha clan. That's my bottom line condition. Shangren hesitated for a moment and said, in this case, our losses have indeed been compensated, and we can also gain some other gains from the Yamanaka clan and the people who Uchiha compensated. Maybe you can get the secret art of the mountain clan, as well as the Sharingan. It's a pity, there are no Hinata people involved. If you can get white eyes, it would be great. Leiying shook his head and said, the conditions for getting the white eye are too harsh, only members of the Zone family have it. Yes, it's just that compared to the Sharingan, the white eye is actually better to use on the battlefield. The strength of the riding wheel eye lies in the strength of the individual, and the strength of the white eye is strong in teamwork. Two convoys, respectively from Konoha and Yunin village, headed for the land of iron. The self-proclaimed permanent neutrality of the Iron Country adheres to its former samurai profession, excels at forging weapons and armor, and does business with major ninja villages. However, the so-called neutrality is only left and right. There is simply no absolute neutrality. The fact that the Iron Country can maintain its current situation is only what the major ninja villages expect and accept. Not strong, does not threaten the country next to it, and the weapons and armor produced are cost-effective. The original Whirlpool Country. Obviously, he didn't make any mistakes, but because the sealing technique was too strong, he was jealous of the major ninja villages, and he was attacked by the big countries and ninja villages, and directly exterminated the clan. Now there are only 2 or 3 kittens left. Strictly speaking, 2.5. Nagato, Koto, and Naruto can only count half. Naruto has no red hair. Because of the talks between Konoha and Kumahide village, the Iron Country began preparations a week ago. Prepare the venue and clear the roads. Be alert to your surroundings. Do all the work before the meeting and welcome the arrival of Konoha and Kumahide village. And this is one of the many prices that the Iron Country needs to pay for the status of a neutral country. 2 convoys appeared in both directions of the venue. Episode 73. Crunch. 2 convoys stopped at the same time. The ape flew to the sun, and the thunder shadow got down from the carriage, respectively. The eyes of the 2 met in midair, and their minds were different. Humph. Thunder shadow, little ghost, want to play tricks in front of my ape flying son? You are still tender. The old man, my name of ninja is not for nothing. When I crossed the ninja world, you still didn't know where to play in the mud. The scheme was discovered by me, solved, and now simply come to be arrogant? Very good. I want to see how strong your Yunin village can be. I Konoha really don't want to fight, but you Yunin village may not be able to withstand it. Snipe muscles compete, fishermen profit. The people of Sand Ninja Village, Iwayne Village, and Mist Shadow Village are all watching. Laying glanced at Ape Fei. Dry old man, when he is old, he will honestly retire. Now is the age of young people. There is no strength. He will only make those subtle intrigues. The people who harmed us in Yunin village, now they don't want to bear any responsibility. Let the people of Yunin village die in vain? It's impossible. Today, you Konoha, don't give me a reasonable explanation. Then, don't think about going back today. In the hearts of the 2, countless thoughts flashed in an instant. Hinata glanced at Thunder Kage. To talk about strength, the ape flying sun chop is definitely inferior to Lei Ying. After all, the ape flying sun chop is old, and Lei Ying takes an extremely violent route, offensive and defensive. Even Sasuke Susanoo is barely able to resist Thunder Kage's fist, enough to see the strength of his attack. Moreover, the arm was burned by Amaterasu, and he didn't even wrinkle his brow. This is a real fighter. Immediately, Hinata Hayashi looked at another person next to him, a young man, Kairabi. In a sense, Kairabi is the first perfect human pillar force, and the relationship between the tailed beast and the host has reached a harmonious coexistence. One person and one beast, more like friends, partners. Kairabi noticed Hinata's gaze and couldn't help but look over. Hinata immediately looked away. Kairabi, what's wrong? Nothing. Kairabi shook his head. Lei Ying looked in the direction of the ape flying sun and said, Kairabi, concentrate a little. This meeting may not be so smooth. Ready to fight at any time, understand? Yes, big brother. The people of the Iron Country brought Konoha and the people of Yunin village into the conference room separately. A long table with 2 sitting on one side. Bang! Lei Ying directly slapped the table. Hokage, the 9 people of our Yunin village, how do you plan to be responsible? Ape Flying Sun Chopper was a little unhappy with Lei Ying's attitude. No matter how you are, that is also a senior. The Ape Flying Sun slashed from Lei Ying's body, and he couldn't see the meaning of respect at all. Lei Ying, the people of your Yunin village are really the same, and your father was also like this back then. Lei Ying's face turned cold. Hokage, what we're talking about now is about the disappearance of my Yunin village messenger. There is no need to talk about my father. The words of the ape flying sun slashed made Lei Ying also very dissatisfied. What do you mean? Do you still want to crush me with my father when it comes to my father? What does my junior in Yunin village have to do with you Konoha? I have made this matter very clear. Ape flying sun chopper said, your messenger of the cloud shadow, when we were in Konoha, it went smoothly, all the plans were completed, and then we personally sent him out of the village. According to what I know, they have not encountered any accidents in the territory of the Fire Nation. And as for what happens after that, can it be that we, Konoha, will be responsible for the safety of your Cloud Shadow emissary for the rest of your life? Lei Ying stood up abruptly. Ape Flying Sun, don't play the fool. You know best what the truth of the matter is. To tell you the truth, I already know what the truth of the matter is. Our messenger of Cloud Shadow was controlled by you when he was still in your Konoha, right? It could be someone from the Yamanaka clan, or it could be someone from the Uchiha clan. At that time, their performance was already very bizarre. Now, I'll tell you directly about my minimum requirements. We Yunin village lost 9 people. Then, you Konoha, you have to give us Yunin village, and repay 9 people, It must be from the Yamanaka clan and the Uchiha clan. Yamanaka Hyuga and Uchiha Fugaku's faces sank. They did not expect that the fire would burn themselves at once. Especially Yamanaka Hyuga, he felt that this was a complete disaster. In the matter of the Cloud Shadow Envoy, he was not involved at all. Uchiha Fugaku's eyes flickered. Ape Fei's eyes narrowed slightly. Empty white fang, just want us Konoha 9? Then can I say that Konoha died 28 ninjas last month? And these ninjas should be the responsibility of your Yunin village, paying for the lives of 28 ninjas in Konoha? And Lei Kage, the situation in my Konoha village, why do you know this matter? Should you give me an explanation? Lei Ying glared angrily at the ape flying sun. Suddenly, he sat quietly back in his place. That's right, our Yunin village arranged undercover agents in your Konoha. There is nothing bad to admit. You Konoha must have made the same arrangement in our Yunin village. Therefore, I clearly know that on that day, we Cloud Shadow messengers were supposed to visit your ninja school, but we didn't go, and the Cloud Shadow messengers who came out after that had changed. At that time, it should have been controlled by your people in Konoha. Am I right? Ape Fei's face sank. The undercover matter, I will remember first. Since Lei Ying you have already talked about this, then I don't mind making things clearer. On that day, all your Cloud Shadow messengers disappeared. 9 ninjas, all gone. The Cloud Shadow messenger after that, I arranged for the pretense of the Konoha people. And as for why I did this, I believe you know very well Lei Ying. Aren't you just seeing that we Konoha have suffered a lot of damage recently, and think that we Konoha are bullies and want to take profits from us Konoha? To use such a shameless strategy, the Cloud Shadow Envoy didn't disappear at all, but secretly returned to your Yunin village, right? After that, when we find out about the disappearance of the Cloud Shadow messenger, you can use this as an excuse to make a claim against me Konoha, which is really a good idea. It's a pity that I saw through your scheme, but I didn't expect that you were so shameless. The scheme has been punctured by me, and before you realize it, you still forcibly and arrogantly want to demand compensation from me Konoha. Shameless. Episode 74. Uchiha Fugaku touched his nose. He now knew how Hinata Hayashi operated. I have to say that this trick is very clever. Ape Flying Sun Chopper will not trust Thunder Shadow. Thunder Shadow will not trust the Ape Flying Sun / either. Once this misunderstanding is formed, it is almost impossible to solve. Lei Yingqi's face turned red. Am I shameless? Sarutobi Sun / your ability to rake backwards in Konoha. I kind of realized. My father and I said that we should be wary of Konoha's people, not because of their strength, but because of their scheming. I didn't believe it before. Now I realize. Our envoy from Yunin village has never returned at all. The strategy you said, I didn't arrange it at all. Ape Fei said with a cold face. If I arranged it this way, I wouldn't admit it. Lei Ying, say, how do you want to solve it? Lei Ying snorted coldly, exhaled a long breath, and said, you Konoha, I have already seen it. Very good. I will give you one last chance now. Or, hand over 9 people. Or, we go to war. Ape Flying Sun Chopper also stood up. Then we don't have much to say. Let me Konoha hand over 9 people. It's impossible. The next moment, an octopus tentacle suddenly struck at Konoha's side, slashing straight towards the Ape Flying Sun. Naruto-sama, be careful. Akimichi Dingza blocked in front of the Ape Flying Sun. Bang! The huge force acted on the body of Akimichi Dingza, and Akimichi Dingza suddenly flew out upside down. But immediately, Akimichi Dingza returned again. The people of the Akimichi clan, if nothing else, are thick-skinned, and this level of attack is not enough to cause more serious damage to the Akimichi Dingza, just some pain. Yamanaka Hyuga, Narashika immediately acted. At the same time, there are dark parts. On the other side of Yunin village, it was also scattered. Hinata glanced at it and took a few steps back, trying to keep herself as far away from the center of the battlefield as possible, but not to make Sarutobi think that Hinata was avoiding a fight. Uchiha Fugaku, Danzo, made a similar choice. This can be seen from here. The difference between Hinata, Uchiha, and Anuga Butterfly. He is also in Konoha, but the relationship with Ape Flying Sun is far from the same. Hinata and Uchiha can't possibly fight hard for Sarutobi Hinata, but Pig Deer Butterfly, at a critical moment, can kill for the Ape Flying Sun. Hokage, Thunder Shadow, you're going too far. A samurai walked out from the side. The leader of the Iron Country, Mifune. This is the territory of my Iron Country, and you were just like this, fighting here. Do you not take my Iron Country in your eyes at all? Have you all forgotten the original agreement? I don't know Sand Ninja Village, Iwayne Village, and Mist Shadow Village. They know this situation. What kind of reaction will it be? The appearance of Mifune interrupted the fighting Konoha and the people of Kumahide Village. Lei Ying took a deep look at Ape Fei. Mifune, I'll give you a face today. But, Ape Flying Sun, you remember it for me. People who dare to tease our Yunin village like this, none of them will have a good end. You Konoha get ready. I won't give up if I don't make you Konoha pay. Let's go. The battle came quickly and ended quickly. To put it bluntly, Kairabi's sneak attack is just an attempt. If you can succeed in one blow and kill the Ape Flying Sun, it is certainly a good thing, but not killing, but also expected by Lei Ying. Killing a village shadow is not so easy. A real war, it won't be here. Ape Fei's face sank. We Konoha, it's not so easy to provoke, even if we are indeed in the trough now. But not everyone can bully casually. Thunder Shadow, you are so self-sufficient. The negotiations ended unhappily. After Lei Ying returned to the village, he immediately began to prepare for war. Yunin village at this point in time is very strong. The pillar power of the two people is very good combat power. Moreover, Yunin village was almost united in the absence of the two unstable factors of the Golden Horn and Silver Horn. Lei Ying gave an order, and no one obeyed. But on Konoha's side, the situation is more complicated. On Konoha's side, there was an incident of Tsunade leaving the village and the defection of Orochimaru. The three shinobi, who had supported Konoha for a long time, all left Konoha, and the Wei Feng Shui Gate, which performed extremely well in the three battles, died in the Nine-Tails Rebellion, and Uzumaki Jyo Shinai, the current Nine-Tails Pillar Force, cannot be used as a weapon at all. Upper forbearance, middle forbearance, the number is seriously insufficient, and the power of the shadow level is even more lacking. Hokage building. Ape Flying Sun paced back and forth, his brows furrowed. On the opposite side is Narashikahiza. Lugio, what do you think to do? Previously, at the negotiation meeting, Sarutobi resolutely refused Lei Kage's request because of anger, but now back in Konoha, after Sarutobi Hinata calmed down, he actually resisted the war. If you have 9 people, it's actually not impossible. From the Yamazhan clan and the Uchiha clan, choose 9 people at random and hand them over to Yunin village. Lei Ying will naturally be unable to say that if he gets 9 people, we can avoid this war. Konoha, I really can't stand the war, Sarutobi said to himself. Narashikaku glanced at Sarutobi and said, Naruto-sama, I'm afraid this is no longer possible. What do you say? First of all, Naruto-sama, you have clearly rejected Thunder Kage at the negotiation meeting, and if you agree at this time, then Yunin village's opinion of us will feel that our Konoha is weaker than they thought. Maybe it's going to be more excessive. One step back, then step by step. The Ape Flying Sun slashed his face with embarrassment. But how can Konoha deal with a war like this? Naruto-sama, so we need a quick victory. How can you make a quick fix? Utilizing the strategy of the elite squad. Narashikahiza said, move quickly and solve the ninja of Yunin village with mobility, and cause the most damage to Yunin village in the shortest possible time. The people of Yunin village are also limited, so their strength is stronger than ours now, but after all, there are 3 other ninja villages watching around. In addition, we can contact Jiraiya-sama. If Jiraiya-sama joins the war, our advantage will increase a bit. Sarutobi frowned. Elite squad? Konoha, I'm afraid there are no ninjas who can reach this ability now, right? Episode 75. When it comes to elites, Ape Flying Sun Chopper can't help but think of Bofeng Shui Men. Relying on the art of the Flying Thunder God, constantly traveling between various battlefields, one person is equivalent to an army, saving many ninjas of Konoha, so the Wei Feng Shui Gate can get such a high reputation at such a young age. But now, there are no such people in Konoha. Narashikaku said, Naruto-sama, what do you think, Danzo-sama? Tuanzo? Ape Fei frowned and said, Tuanzang's strength is good. When I was young, he was not under me, and after I inherited the position of Hokage, I dealt with village affairs all year round, and my training will inevitably decrease. And Tuanzang is relatively good at maintaining his own strength, especially good at wind escape. Narashikahiza said, during the last Nine-Tails Rebellion, the actions of the Hyuga Clan gave me a little inspiration. Hinata, what did they do? The Hyuga Clan sent are all those members of the family, the elderly, the prime, the youth, there is none, all are the elderly. In other words, those members, even if they do not die in the Nine-Tails Rebellion, they will inevitably not live for a few years. It's better to let them go to death than to let young people die. Young people are hope. Sarutobi nodded. That's right, if the Nine-Tails Rebellion at that time, we sent out were all old ninjas of Konoha, then our Konoha's loss would not have been so great that time. That time, a lot of good seedlings died. Sarutobi's decision at that time was to let Naka Shinobu and Shimo Shinobu fend off the 9 tails, most of them young ninjas. Life has just begun, not long ago. Naruto-sama, so my suggestion is that Danzo-sama lead a team of elderly ninjas, and the ninjas in this team are all experienced people. On the battlefield, they can exert good strength, and more importantly, they can sacrifice at will. After that, pairing them with a ninja of the Hyuga clan and a ninja of the Uchiha clan, and letting them form an elite squad, will definitely work wonders. Ape Flying Sun's eyes lit up. That's right, these people are experienced, even if their strength is not as good as when they were young, but they are definitely stronger than young ninjas in terms of strategy, and with white eyes and chakra eyes, they can really do something. I just don't know whether Tuanzang is willing or not. Narashikaku said, Naruto-sama, this is the moment of Konoha's life and death, and Danzo-sama, as the elder of Konoha, naturally wants to help Konoha share his worries. Otherwise, how can he be considered an elder of Konoha? That's right. Ape Fairy nodded and said, then send to death. No, the matter of the elite squad is so decided. However, in addition to the elite squad, I also need to arrange the frontal battlefield. Narashikaku understood the meaning of the Ape Flying Sun. Naruto-sama, if you are facing the battlefield, I think you can personally be the commander of Naruto-sama, and Shinosuke, as the deputy commander, lead our ninja of Konoha against the enemy of Yunin village. Shinosuke can't be allowed to act directly. Not good, now Shinosuke's reputation has not accumulated. Sarutobi nodded. Then arrange it this way, you follow Shinosuke. After all, Shinosuke still lacks experience in this area. Naruto-sama, rest assured, I will definitely assist Shinosuke completely. Soon, Naruto's arrangement passed into the hands of various families and ninjas. Hinata Hayashi looked at the part that was required of the Hyuga clan. Ask Hinata for 21 ninjas. One upper ninja, join the elite squad, and the remaining 20 ninjas join the frontal army? The elite squad is led by Danzo, in addition to one Hinata's upper shinobi, and one Uchiha's upper shinobi. Hinata Hayashi frowned. What does this elite squad mean? After hesitating for a moment, Hinata looked outside. Liangji, inform down, there will be a family meeting today. Elders, family cadres, all come over. Yes, Hinata-sama. On the other hand, Uchiha Fugaku received a similar notice. However, the number of Uchiha requirements is more. Compared to Hinata, the Uchiha family is larger. Inuga butterfly, oil girl, Inuzuka, pommel horse. So the ninja family all received a notice from Hokage. Tuanzong looked at the letter in his hand, with a hint of doubt in his eyes. What idea is this fighting? Let me lead the elite squad? As the commander himself, Shinosuke as the deputy commander, is he so afraid that I will rob Shinosuke of the credit? There must be something wrong with this elite squad. Danzo looked at the list on the elite squad, name after name. One member of Hinata, one member of Uchiha, one member of Inuzuka, one member of Oil Girl, but no Inuga butterfly, and the rest are some highly qualified ninjas. Wait, Hinata and several other ninjas of the family, I don't know who they are for the time being, but the rest of these names are ninjas of considerable age. Let such a group of old guys form an elite squad? Tuanzong gave birth to a bad guess in his heart. Rick Hop, your so-called elite squad is probably not a real elite squad at all, but a death squad. Danzo remembered the arrangement of the Hyuga clan during the Ninetales rebellion. Immediately, Tuanzang's face became gloomy. Richo, it's too much for you to do this. Danger, we old guys bear it. The credit, your son will take it. Kill two birds with one stone. With your IQ, you must not have thought of such a strategy. And it was Lugio who thought of it. The people of the Nara clan are really bad to the bone. Inuga butterfly, Yamanaka, Akimichi, all have Danzo people, but Nara does not. The relationship between the three families of pig deer butterfly, the Nara family, and the Sarutobi family, is the most intimate. The corners of Tuanzang's eyes twitched. I don't accept this task. Danzo came directly to the Hokage building. Sarutobi looked at Tuanzong. Tuanzong, is there something wrong? Tuanzong said, Richo, I am old now. My strength and energy are not as good as before. I am afraid that I will not be able to bear such a job as an elite squad leader. Hinata, you better choose another person, right? Ape Flying Sun Chopper quickly shook his head. Danzo, you are too modest to say this. Your strength, I know, before me. Now we Konoha are in a critical situation, and someone needs to stand up. Only you can do this job, don't put it off. Moreover, the elite squad values experience and skills, and in this regard, those young ninjas are not as good as yours. Episode 76. Tuanzong, this work is very important. Only you can bear it. Your ability, your strength, I trust it. I hope you can stand up. Sarutobi got up, came to Danzo, patted Danzo's shoulder, and said, these people I selected are all very experienced ninjas, and there are also Hinata, Uchiha, Inuzuka, and the Oil Girl clan to join. Hinata, Inuzuka, and the detective abilities of the Oil Lady clan, combined with Uchiha's illusion, will have a very good effect. You can definitely help us Konoha win this war. I will still keep the position of the head of the root department for you, and when you return, I will personally hold a celebration banquet for you. If you want to say that the previous is a compliment, then the last sentence is a threat. The meaning of Ape Flying Sun Chopping is very simple. If you do not agree, I will dissolve your roots. Tuanzo fell silent. For the root, Tuanzang has been operating for a long time, and it can be disbanded if it is not said that the Ape Flying Sun Chop is dissolved. But if the Ape Flying Sun Chop is aimed at the root, then the life of Tuanzang will not be so good. Danzo wants to be a Hokage, and the root is the root of Tuanzang. For a long time, look up. Okay, I promised, but I can't guarantee what it will be. Ape Fei showed a smile and said, Tuanzang, I believe in you. You can definitely do well. Tuanzo nodded and left. Ape Flying Sun's smile converged. Danzo, it seems that you care more about the roots than I thought. It seems that you really have your own selfishness, no longer simply for Konoha. In the past, you would not refuse such an arrangement. You've disappointed me so much. This proves even more that my choice to regain the position is correct, and you are not suitable to be Hokage. Tuanzong turned around and glanced at the Hokage building, and the anger in his heart was raging. Ape Flying Sun, I wrote down today's events. Threaten me with my roots, you're fine, now you can do it. But, one day, I'll leave you with nothing to do. The position of the Hokage, I will definitely hold it in my hand. And you ape-flying clans are not worthy of existing in Konoha anymore. In the evening, everyone arrived in Hinata's courtyard, and the conference building was still under renovation and could not be used. The elders group, the Hinata cadres, stood on either side. Hinata looked around. I believe everyone has received the news. We, Konoha, are about to start a war with Yunin village. The mission that Hokage gave Hinata was to provide 20 people. 1. Join the Tuanzang leader, and the remaining 20, join the frontal battlefield. What are your ideas? Hinata raised his hand. Say, Hizu-sama, the elite squad of Danzo, what is it? According to Naruto's description, it is a flexible squad, mainly used to raid, deal great damage to the Cloud Ninja and quickly evacuate, which is equivalent to what the Wave Feng Shui Gate did during the 3 World Wars. I read the list above: a Hinata, a Uchiha, an Oil Girl, a Inuzuka, and some very senior ninjas, generally older. Elite squad, the mortality rate will be high. Immediately, everyone present understood that this elite squad was similar to the members of the elder group sent out by Hinata Hayashi in the Ninetales Rebellion, which was equivalent to sending them to death. A member of the group of elders took the initiative to raise his hand. Hinata-sama, the elite squad here, let me go. I have enjoyed family benefits for so many years. It is time for me to contribute to this family. Hinata looked at the elder. Good. After this war, whether you survive or not, the Garden of Honor will inevitably have your name. The elder bent down slightly. Thank you, Hinata-sama, you deserve it. Hinata Hayashi looked at everyone again and said, the remaining 20 names, you each sign up. Hinata, you help me with the screening. The frontal battlefield is the responsibility of Sarutobi Shinosuke. The danger will not be so high. However, on the battlefield, everything is unpredictable, and after going to the battlefield, you must be careful. Yes, Hinata-sama. Hinata Hayashi made arrangements. Such a battlefield, Hinata Hayashi, is impossible to go to personally. Otherwise, what is the meaning of the position of patriarch? It's a pity that the ninja tool has not yet been researched. Otherwise, in this war, the casualties of the Hyuga clan will be further reduced. Hinata looked in the direction of the Hokage building. Because of my participation, this matter has completely changed. In the original work, this matter ended with the death of Hinata, but now it has become a war between Konoha and Yunin village, and the number of deaths is far more than a day. However, this is normal. A shuriken broke through the air and landed on the doorpost. Hinata took it off. Fugaku? At night, Hinata went out and came to the woods before. Hayashi, what are your plans now? Yunin village, I'm afraid we, Konoha, are not their opponents now. Uchiha Fugaku showed a sad face. Unlike Hinata, Uchiha Fugaku has feelings for Konoha deep down, even if he is dissatisfied with Sarutobi Hinata, Senjukuma, and Danzo. However, for the name Konoha, Uchiha Fugaku, there is no dissatisfaction. To put it simply, I am used to it and have made this place my home. Without persecuting to a certain extent, Uchiha Fugaku would not think of leaving Konoha. Therefore, in the original work, Uchiha Fugaku has such a tangled performance. When realizing Uchiha's decision, Uchiha Fugaku even chose to commit suicide. To put it nicely, it is the completion of Uchiha Itachi. But to say it is not good, it is to escape. Hinata is different. In Hinata's heart, there is only a family, not a village. In the current situation, Hinata did not leave Konoha, just because currently, doing so was the best benefit for the Hyuga family. Choosing to leave, on the one hand, will be targeted by Konoha. On the other hand, other villages will also regard the Hyuga clan as a piece of fat. The current Hyuga clan is not strong enough to ignore the strength of other ninja villages. It is not enough to rely on the strength of Hinata alone. This war will not last long. Hinata Hayashi said, Konoha can't afford it, and Yunin village can't afford it either. Now, it's enough to do our own thing. Fuyue, the matter of the Cloud Shadow Envoy has nothing to do with us, understand? Uchiha Fugaku nodded. Episode 77. Hinata Hayashi guessed a little of Uchiha Fugaku's thoughts, and felt that the matter of the Cloud Shadow Messenger was made by himself, but it led to such a war, and he felt guilty in his heart. But Hinata didn't feel guilty at all, because Hinata Hayashi knows what will happen according to the development of the original book. Faced with the threat of Yunin village, Sarutobi chose to retreat, transferring all the pressure to the Hyuga clan, forcibly forcing the Hyuga clan to make such a painful choice. Hinata's suicide is a huge psychological burden for Hinata Hayashi. At the same time, it leads to Hinata Ninji's autism. Father, I want to go to war. As soon as Uchiha Fugaku returned home, Uchiha Itachi jumped out. Uchiha Fugaku scolded, Itachi, do you think this is a child's household? This is a real war, it will die, and your current strength is simply not enough. You haven't even graduated from ninja school. Uchiha Itachi was not convinced. Father, the teacher said that I have reached the standard for graduation, but it is too late, and I have now fully met the standard of shinobu. What about shinobi? Do you know what it means to be in the middle of the battlefield? Cannon fodder. Mikoto Uchiha walked out from inside. Fugaku, what's wrong? Uchiha Fugaku's face softened a little, and said, Mikoto, this guy Itachi actually wants to participate in this war, Isn't this chaos? With his age, he will go to the battlefield, isn't it a joke? Itachi, come here. Uchiha Mikoto touched Uchiha's head. Itachi, your father is right, you are indeed too young now. Entering the battlefield is not a simple matter. Shinobi is only one of many conditions. You also need to have combat experience. You need to have the right teammates, as well as the captain who leads you. Uchiha said, I can make sure sway, my captain. Stop the water? Uchiha Fugaku frowned. The war thing is what Shuei told you. Yes. Mikoto, bring Itachi back, I'll go out. Good. Mikoto Uchiha grabbed Uchiha and brought her into the room. Uchiha Izumi sat in the corner, depressed, until he saw Uchiha Itachi. His eyes lit up slightly, and Uchiha Izumi already knew about his mother's death. By the bed, Sasuke Uchiha looked at him curiously. Uchiha Fugaku found Uchiha to stop the water. Stop the water, you want to participate in this war? Fugaku-sama. Uchiha nodded and said, yes, this is the crisis of the village, and I want to contribute to the village. I'm sorry, Fugaku-sama, I didn't say anything when I was chatting with Itachi. It's okay. Uchiha Fugaku waved his hand and said, Itachi is just a little hot-headed, and with his current level, it is simply unrealistic to want to enter the battlefield. Neither I nor his mother will allow it. But, stop the water, are you sure you really want to go? The dangers of the battlefield, needless to say, you know, with your talent, in a few years, you will become a very good ninja. Now is not the right time to enter the battlefield. Naruto-sama has asked for a total of 31 places for us Uchiha, and we Uchiha don't need a child like you to go into battle. Uchiha shook his head. Fugaku-sama, even if you don't count me among those 31 names, I'll go. The village is in danger, and I can't sit idly by. Uchiha said seriously. Uchiha Fugaku was silent for a moment. Okay, I'll report your name. Thank you, Fugaku-sama. Back at home, Uchiha Fugaku sat in his study and thought. Family or village, which one is more important? Uchiha Fugaku has a sense of identification with Konoha, but compared to the interests of Konoha, Uchiha Fugaku values the interests of the Uchiha family more. Otherwise, he would not have been looking for Hinata Hayashi before. Instead, he directly told the ape the truth of the matter. For Uchiha to stop the water, Uchiha Fugaku attaches great importance to it. Uchiha's talent is very good, and he is young, and his thinking is very clear and mature. Giving Uchiha time to stop the water, Uchiha Fugaku felt that Uchiha could even stop the water more than himself. Uchiha Fugaku once thought that he would do his best to cultivate Uchiha to stop the water, and if his own children were indeed not as good as Uchiha to stop the water, then it would be okay to put the position of the patriarch of Uchiha into the hands of the water stop. After all, it's all for the family to be better. But now, Uchiha Fugaku has a different view of Uchiha Shuei. In the heart of Shuei, it seems that the village is more important than the family. I have emphasized his importance to the family, but he would rather take great risks for Konoha's sake, and forcibly participate in this war. Uchiha Fugaku frowned. Under normal circumstances, the Uchiha clan would not stand against Konoha. This is already the place where the Uchiha family has taken root, and it is our home. But what if? Ape Flying Sun Chop, Tuanzong, the attitude towards Uchiha is not good. Once you really face a rupture and stop the water, which side will you be on? Uchiha Fugaku thought about it for a moment. Judging from the way Shuizu is doing now, he is more, and he may still be on Konoha's side. Uchiha Fugaku's expression converged. As for stopping the water, it seems that my attitude will change a little in the future. Something, can't let him know. However, there are things I can do to change the concept of stopping water, but it's hard. After all, he is the descendant of the mirror. It is necessary to reduce the time spent between the ferret and the water stop. One list after another, sent to the Hokage office. The requirements given by the Ape Flying Sun Chop to the various ninja families. This is now the reply of each family to the Ape Flying Sun / Everyone, gathered on the square. The ape flew and stood on a high platform. We will win this battle. Victory! Sarutobi Shinosuke stood up from the side. Listen to my orders, and go. Immediately, Sarutobi Shinosuke took the lead and walked out of Konoha. Behind him was a huge crowd of ninjas. Many people in Konoha looked over. Come on, you must win. We are waiting for you. Victorious return. Survive. On the other side, Tuanzong looked at the group of old, weak and sick in front of him, and his face was extremely dark. Ape Flying Sun, this is the elite you specifically mentioned? If you want me to die, don't you even have the guts to say it directly? Episode 78. For Tuanzong, who has roots, the group of people in front of him, except for the 4 words of crooked and cracked dates, there are no other words to describe it. Tuanzong really can't think of where this can be connected with the elite. Ape Flying Sun / Tuanzong cursed viciously in his heart. Ape Fei sneezed, but didn't know why, touched his nose, and didn't care. Maybe it's been getting cooler lately. Sarutobi looked in the direction where the ninjas had gone. I hope this battlefield can end soon. It's a pity that it can't cause a big weakening of Uchiha and Hinata. The existence of these two families has advantages and disadvantages for Konoha, but the two people of Hinata Hayashi and Uchiha Fugaku are not simple. So, these two families are now doing more harm than good. Sarutobi Shinosuke quickly arranged for the ninja below. The number of ninjas involved in the war this time reached thousands, but most of them are just forbearance. The frontal battlefield team was divided into 6 armies, an elite unit directly under Sarutobi Shinosuke. The remaining 5 are led by different shinobi. The Hyuga clan occupies one. Hinata was the same, bringing 2 people from the elite training camp, Ichiro Hinata and Jiro Hinata. This was deliberately arranged by Hinata. Ichiro Hinata and Jiro Hinata have completely changed their original fighting style, from a Jyochuan user to a ninja user. The former can use the wind done through the ninja tool, and the latter can absorb chakra. The cooperation between the two can exert stronger strength. Compared with the 2 who used Jyochuan before, the current 2 are much stronger. It's not that soft boxing can't work, but soft boxing also requires qualifications. There are so many people in the Hyuga clan. There are always some people who can't learn Jyochuan to the extreme. At this time, giving them ninja tools and opening another path can often make them stronger. Hinata Hayashi wanted everyone to adapt to the fact that the Hyuga family began to use ninja tools in advance. After Kamikawa Lei makes the ninja tool that meets Hinata's requirements, then outsiders will not be so surprised by this matter, and Hinata Hayashi will have more room to operate. In the tent, Sarutobi Shinosuke looked at the 6 people in front of him. They were the captains of the 5 armies, as well as Narashika Hiza. According to the information given back by the scout, the people of Yunin village have reached the scope of Taiyansiguo. Tomorrow, we'll meet. The other side sent more people than us. Therefore, we must be cautious, with the minimum casualties, get the maximum gain, and possibly win this war. The elite squad will provide us with support. Sarutobi Shinosuke looked at Hinata. It's the same, this will have to work hard for your Hinata clan. Spot the other side's trail as early as possible, so we can get a head start. Whether it's attacking or retreating, we can have the advantage. After that, Sarutobi Shinosuke looked at Shirwei, the oil girl. You knew Jiwei didn't know what the reason was, and chose to personally participate in the war. Jiwei, are you oil women's people already arranged in the border forest? Okay, oil girl Jiwei said. In the entire border forest, we have already arranged bugs to monitor. As long as the ninja of Yunin village enter the forest, I will definitely know. Sarutobi Shinosuke nodded. That's good. We have the help of Hinata, oil girl, and Inuzuka in terms of reconnaissance and intelligence acquisition, which is a great advantage over Yunin village, and we must take advantage of this advantage. And as for the specific strategy, each army judges according to its own situation. That's all I have to say. Adjourned. Narashika Hiza stayed, and the remaining 5 people all left. Lujio, what do you think is our winning rate in this war? Narashikaku shook his head. Nope, none? Yes, we will not win this battlefield, but Yunin village will not win either. Why? Because something big is about to happen. What's the big deal? Narashikaku laughed a little. I'm sorry, Shinosuke, I can't tell you this for the time being. Sarutobi Shinosuke frowned. Narashika Hiza left. In the tent, Sarutobi Shinosuke looked outside. Is it my father who secretly arranged some plan? A major event that can interrupt the war between Yunin village and Konoha? What can affect so much? Sarutobi Shinosuke was puzzled. Hinata sat in the study. The war between Konoha and Yunin village does not need my attention too much for the time being. Unless Konoha really reaches a desperate situation, the apes fly to the sun, and the Tuanzo dies on the battlefield. At that time, in order to protect the people of the Hyuga clan, I will choose to strike. However, with the character of an ape-flying sun, it should not be until that time. Either the ape-flying sun chopper will find a helper, or the ape-flying sun chopper will be soft to Yunin village. After all, in the original work, ape-flying sun / ended this matter with Shangin village. There was a sound of footsteps. Ryona Hinata trotted in with a look of surprise on her face. Husband Kuan. Liana, what's wrong? Little Hinata, can talk. Really? Hinata's eyes lit up sharply. Show me around. In the backyard, Hinata sat quietly on a chair, next to Hinata Mitsuki taking care of her, and after seeing Hinata Hinatsu coming over, Hinata Mitsuki took a small step back. Hayashi-sama. Hinata nodded, and immediately, all his attention was on Hinata. Hinata looked at Hinata curiously. Hinata Ryona came to Hinata and smiled. Little Hinata, call mom. Hinata tilted his head, as if thinking for a while. Mom, pronunciation is not very standard, but for a small baby, it should not be too demanding. After speaking, Hinata immediately showed an expression of praise. Ryona Hinata touched Hinata's fuss. Fukuin, Hinata can really speak. Yes. Hinata nodded and crouched down beside her. Hinata's gaze was drawn to Hinata. Hinata smiled as kindly as possible. Little Hinata, call daddy. Hinata didn't understand. Call daddy. Hinata Hayashi accentuated her tone a little. The next moment, Hinata suddenly cried out with a wow. Hinata. Ryona Hinata hurriedly pacified. It may be that husband Kuan, you don't have much time with Hinata, and Hinata is a little afraid of you. Episode 79. Maybe. Hinata Hayashi was a little disappointed, not because she was jealous of Hinata Ryona, but because Hinata recalled that she really didn't spend much time with Hinata. But this is something that can't be helped. He is the patriarch of the Hyuga clan, and there are too many things to deal with. And the situation of the Hyuga family before was not optimistic. For example, the trouble of the presbytery. Although Hinata Hayashi banned the previous group of elders very strongly, and portrayed the caged bird spell on the elders, there will still be some residual effects. The second is the question of the Hyuga clan's attack methods. Just soft boxing alone is indeed too single, and a single means is easy to target. The Hyuga clan does not learn other ninjutsu. On the one hand, the Hyuga clan has a special pride in their soft boxing, and feels that as long as they learn soft boxing, they are not afraid of anything. One trick is fresh, go all over the sky, but the only person who can defeat all opponents with one fist is that person, Saitama of the next world. On the other hand, the Hyuga clan is not very good at changing Chakra's attributes. Therefore, Hinata Hayashi came up with this way to increase the means of attack with ninja. The third is the matter of the Cloud Shadow Messenger. Because of the interference of Hinata Hayashi, it has become what it is now, and it has completely deviated from the original historical trajectory. It turned into a war between two villages. I've dealt with almost everything I have to deal with, and I can accompany you more during this time. Dad. Hinata had just finished speaking, when he suddenly heard this voice, and quickly looked at Hinata. Liana, this sentence just now was said by Hinata, right? Yes. Hinata Ryona showed a smile and said, it seems that Hinata still prefers you as a father, but I taught Hinata for a long time before she called my mother. Hinata reached out and pinched Hinata's little face, worthy of being my good daughter. Hinata Mitsuki watched from the side, a little envious, and at the same time, a little missing the past. In the past, Hinata Mitsuki often went to visit Uchiha Makoto, and at that time, Itachi had just been born, and the scene that Hinata Mitsuki saw at that time was similar to what she saw now. Finally, the army of the village of Kumikage and the army of Konoha engaged in the first engagement. Both sides have their own injuries. Nara Shikaku immediately sent news to Danzo, in the name of Sarutobi Shinosuke. Danzo-sama, we have just engaged in our first engagement, and what is certain now is that one of the ninja garrison bases in Yunin village is in this place. Please ask your elite squad to attack it immediately. The number of people is about 300, and there are no other cloud ninjas in close proximity to support. A letter with a sketch on it, and a red dot on top of the map. It's a valley. Tuanzang's face was gloomy. This Shinosuke, can't wait for me to die. 300 cloud ninjas, just rely on this group of old and sick people of mine? Even without the support of other Yunin ninjas, it can't be their opponent. An old ninja came over. Master Tuanzo, what are we going to do? Tuanzang's eyes flickered for a moment, and said, the deputy commander gave us an order, we can only go to carry it out, pass my order down, and now we are heading towards the valley. Yes. Danzo turned around and looked in the direction where Konoha was. Ape Flying Sun, you want me to die? I don't die. Moreover, I want to let this group of old, weak, sick, and disabled live as much as possible, so that everyone will know what you have done. What kind of attitude do you have towards these old ninjas who have done countless merits to Konoha? You used Konoha's heroes as cannon fodder. Before long, the elite squad came beyond the valley. Narashika kept looking at the time. Lugio, what are you looking at? Sarutobi Shinosuke did not know about Narashikahisa's order to Danzo. Nothing. Narashikaku shook his head and said, I'm looking at the time, I don't know what is the situation of the elite squad led by Danzo-sama. The key to this war lies with them. Sarutobi Shinosuke frowned. Is the elite squad led by Uncle Tuanzong really feasible? It was a group of elderly ninjas, who were not as physically and staminally as young ninjas. Sure, this is a decision made by Naruto-sama after careful consideration. The old ninja is not strong enough in physical strength and endurance, but they are experienced. Sarutobi Shinosuke nodded. Narashikaku, even Ape Flying Sun Chopper moved out. Sarutobi Shinosuke naturally didn't say much. After all, it was his father. But deep down, Sarutobi Shinosuke was still very puzzled by this decision. Hinata, look inside the valley. Yes. An old ninja of Hyuga stood up and took the initiative to invite the members of the Hyuga elder group, who were ready to die before going to the battlefield, but they were still a little dissatisfied with the order they received this time. The elite squad consists of dozens of people, directly against hundreds of ninjas, and there is almost no possibility of winning, unless there is a ninja whose strength far exceeds that of others. But on the side of Yunin village, there are also strong people. There are more than 300 people in the valley, and the defense is very tight, and it is unlikely that we will sneak in. Tuanzong frowned and thought. Immediately, Tuanzong came up with a plan. Rush head on, and we will surely die. However, I thought of a way. Set fire to the mountains and forests. Danzo looked at Uchiha's old ninja and said, Uchiha, you and I go to the upper wind of the valley, and after that, you use the fire escape to create a fire, and I use the wind escape to speed up the fire. No matter how many Yunin ninja are and how strong their strength is, it is impossible to please in the face of such a fire. An old ninja hesitated. Lord Tuanzang, but in this case, it is easy to cause a huge accident, and it may be that the entire border forest will be destroyed in this fire, and at that time, the fire country will be investigated. Moreover, it is easy to accidentally injure our own people. Danzo looked at the ninja with an expressionless face. Then it is said that the ninja of Yunin village did it, and as for the situation of accidentally injuring our own people, it should not happen. in the frontal battlefield, there are ninjas of the Oil Girl Clan and the Hyuga Clan. There's no way they can't see it. Without waiting for the ninja to speak again, Danzo said first, "That's it. Is this the only way we can win, or do you want to break into the valley now and let the Cloud Ninja kill dozens of us?" Episode 80. Speaking of this, the ninja suddenly couldn't refute it. Even though he is old, he still wants to live. "Uchiha, let's go." Danzo left with Uchiha's ninja, and there were only 2 people. Setting fire to something like this doesn't require too many people to be involved. This is what Tuanzong came up with, a method that is not a way. If the opposite side is the ninja of the Mist Shadow Village, this method is basically useless. A few large water escapes, the fire can be easily extinguished. But the opposite is the ninja of Yunin Village. A ninja in Yunin Village, he is good at thunder, physical arts, and swordsmanship. It just so happens that the climate is dry now. Once the fire burned, Yunin Ninja had no way to extinguish the fire. But setting fire to is a two-sided thing. It's not just the Cloud Ninja who loses. The loss of Konoha, the land of fire, could be even greater. It has even implicated some innocent civilians living near the forest. In a sense, Tuanzang's practice is somewhat dehumanizing, but for Tuanzong, he didn't care. "Danzo-sama? Ignite." Under the gaze of Danzo, Uchiha had to use the fire escape. Fire, the art of the fireball. Come again. Fire escape, Phoenix, immortal fire art. Go on. Fire, Dragon Yen art. Immediately, the fire burst into flames. Trees, dry leaves on the ground. Crackle. Danzo glanced at Uchiha, and suddenly, struck. "Danzo-sama, what do you do?" Danzo's speed was too fast, and this Uchiha didn't have time to react, and Danzo's attack had already arrived. Poof. One blow, a direct hit to the point. Die in peace. Anyway, Uchiha Fugaku sent you to the elite squad. Just want you to die. Die now. And die later. There is no difference. But don't worry, your eyes, I will use them well. Danzo was against this Uchi wave hand for 2 reasons. The first one is interested in the Sharingan. This was proposed by the Big Snake Pill after the last exchange between Tuanzong and the Big Snake Pill. Second, Danzo wants to intensify the conflict between Uchiha and Sarutobi. Uchiha, old ninja's eyes widened. "Tuanzong, if you kill your companions, you won't end well. That's not something you should care about." Danzo glanced at this person coldly, took out a scroll, and immediately, sealed the body of this old Uchiha ninja in the scroll, and said, "Your mission has been completed." The next moment, Tuanzong looked at the fire. Wind. Suddenly, a gust of wind fell on the flames. Immediately, the flames rose sharply as if they wanted to get a huge boost. Soon, the fire became huge. Constantly burning. Smoke rises. The temperature around rises. Tuanzong retreated tens of meters. Wind escape, big breakthrough. For the current fire, Tuanzo is still dissatisfied and wants to make the fire bigger. The Yunin ninja in the valley finally discovered the fire. Not good, it's on fire. All the ninjas looked at the smoke. At this moment, the flames were spreading towards them at an extremely fast speed. Escape. Cloud Ninja, escape quickly. Danzo returned to the elite squad. Just now we encountered an attack by the Cloud Ninja. Uchiha, unfortunately killed. Danzo blamed the death of the old ninja Uchiha on the body of the Cloud Ninja. "Master Tuanzo, what about this fire?" Danzo said lightly, "It's none of our business. Now that the fire is burning, we can't attack the Cloud Ninja in the valley." Yunin Ninja, presumably he has already left the valley. This fire was put by Cloud Ninja. I hope you all understand that. Everyone looked at each other, heard the threatening meaning in Tuanzang's mouth, and nodded repeatedly. "Yes, Danzo-sama." Danzo glanced at Hinata's old ninja. Danzo is also interested in the white eye, but with the existence of the caged bird spell seal, even if Danzo kills the old Hyuga ninja, he will not be able to get the white eye from him. Therefore, Tuanzong gave up this idea. At this time it can be seen that the effect of the bird spell mark in the cage was indeed born to protect Hinata's people. In addition, the main thing that Danzo now wants to deal with is Sarutobi Hinata and Uchiha. There is no need to add Hinata. Making too many enemies will affect itself. The Yunin ninja fled madly, and after a long time, he stopped. Why is there such a big fire all of a sudden? It's not like it's caused by nature. That's man-made. We, Yunin village, there is no need to do such a thing. This war, we have an absolute advantage. Lighting such a fire is not good for us at all. It must have been done by someone from Konoha. These crazy people, don't they know how big the consequences will be? This is the border of the land of fire. Our ninjas in Yunin village, as long as they retreat in time, nothing will happen. But the losses of their fire country will definitely be very huge, and even countless ordinary people will die in this fire. Maniac. The fire was burning more and more rapidly. Sarutobi Shinnosuke looked at the fire from a distance, his brows furrowed. Why is there a fire? Who did this? One of the upper shinobi replied. Shinnosuke-sama, according to the information from the elite squad, this was done by the ninja of Yunin village. Yunin village ninjas, why did they do this? Narashikaku came in and said, maybe it's because they sensed our arrangement in the border forest and wanted to solve this, but they set fire to it like this. It's just crazy. Don't they know how big the consequences of this are? At that time, it was not just the matter of our 2 ninja villages, but the affairs of the land of fire and the land of thunder. Even, the whole world will be in chaos. What a mess. Maniac. Lunatic. Sarutobi Shinnosuke looked at Narashika. Then Lugio, what do we do now? There is no other way but to retreat and put out the fire again. We need to ask the Land of Fire, as well as Konoha, for help. The war between the two ninja villages had to be stopped for the time being. The fierce fire blocked in the middle, and no matter who it was, they did not dare to set foot easily. But all this, Konoha, is not known for the time being. Sarutobi sat in Hokage's office. The current Konoha is definitely not the opponent of Yunin Village. I hope that Mist Shadow Village and Sand Ninja Village can get news soon. This is a rare opportunity. As long as they put pressure on Yunin Village, they may be able to obtain the Sharingan, and they will definitely be moved. _